Greetings, family, everyone that might be tuning in. It's another late night. I can't help it. Like, it has to happen when it happens, at least for right now. My name is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as Daughter of the Fates. And I am doing this live this evening to talk to you about my day. So today is November 9th, 2022, the day not only after the election, but it is also the day after the last blood moon that we will see until 2025. That blood moon that we are still fully in the energy of was a Taurus blood moon in the sign of Scorpio. And so I'm prefacing that way because I had set as my intention to be completely present every day this week, every moment this week. I had set as my intention, anticipating the intensity of this moon and the impactfulness of this blood moon, to be present and deliberate about what I say and how I act and how I behave, right? So, with that set intention, first I want to say that yesterday was amazing. It was so amazing. I had spent the night prior doing ritual, being in ceremony, preparing myself for the week to come. And because this week is a vortex week. It's not just about this blood moon and how intense it is, but it is being preceded by the 1111 portal, which everybody is preparing for, and so much else, right? And so I knew there was a need for me to be present. I knew there was a need for me to not fall into reaction, to not fall into reactionary response, because I knew that there was going to be a lot this week that would be triggering and or attempt to divert my attention from greater things, right? So I was very deliberate in my intentions about what kind of conversations I would and would not entertain this week. But even bigger than that, I was and am deliberate about really recognizing in every moment if I am leading from, if I am moving from a place of judgment, if I am leading from, moving from, responding from a place of judgment. Am I responding in each moment that I am present to a program, to a learned behavior, to my programming? Am I reacting in a way that is reflective of my programming and not what I want to create, right? And being deliberate in that intention and really, really working to be mindful in every moment. Yesterday was incredible. So much happened yesterday. So many interventions yesterday. So many signs yesterday, which is why I entitled this particular intervention, "Are you the type that sees signs?" Are you the type that sees signs? That's the question, at least for this week. At least while I am being deliberate in where I am giving my energy to, how I'm responding, am I being a reflection of that which I want to create? Am I being a reflection in any given moment of the future that I say I want to see? So, when I say, are you the type that sees signs? I've been doing videos a lot over the last 2 weeks because the last 3 weeks have been these extraordinary highs and these extraordinary lows, and me, it just in my programming, even as I am evolving, trying to process each thing, still trying to be present, even as I am sometimes venting. You understand? Because I've vented a lot over the last 2 weeks on here, and it's still me. It's still a part of me. It's still a part of the process of evolving. And it's a part of the process that is necessary for rapid evolution, which is what we're in the midst of right now, right? It is a part of the process that is necessary for each of us to embrace our shadows, to love our shadows, to welcome into the present, welcome into the light, welcome into the public, our shadows, that which we keep hidden, that which are that those things that are our most intimate and secret desires, those things that we view with shame because of our programming. So we hide them away. We still want them. We still desire them. We still long for them. But because they are not currently socially acceptable, we tuck them away for fear of judgment, right? So I want to start by telling you that today was extraordinary. Yesterday was magical. It was nothing short of magical. Today was the same. Today was the same. Today I got up, I prepared to go to work, still being deliberate. All right, Spirit, whatever it is you need me to see, whatever it is you need to impart on me, I am open today to receive it. I'm open today to receive it, right? Setting that as my intention as I walked out of my door this morning, baby. I had not been out my door 5 minutes before my first intervention occurred, right? And then a second intervention right away. And then a third right away. I have not even gotten to my car. I'm trying to tell you what has happened today. Every intervention more profound and more affirming than the one before. And that shit has been unfolding all day long with every person that I met, every person that I came into contact with, every text or message that was sent to me. It was like perfectly timed, right? But in the madness and the chaos of this thing that we call life, it becomes difficult, seemingly impossible to see the signs, to recognize that instant, that moment when an intervention is being made, when a prayer is being answered, when a wish is being fulfilled in an instant. Recognizing, being still enough, present enough, even in our goings on, to recognize when a thought has officially become a thing, right? And to recognize those small signs and those small blessings as equally impactful and important as when we receive big signs and big blessings. Because a lot of the times, the things that we reduce to small or insignificant are permanently impactful, right? So today, first I want to shout out those who set the tone for the magic that unfolded in my day before I even hit the street today. Mike Flo, right? Who is an incredible producer, DJ, musician, writer, brilliant thinker, artist, wonderful human being. Lily Flor Ramirez, who has been a consistent source of blessings and evidence of magic in my life. My daughter, Morgan Bethany Floyd, who has been a consistent source of blessings and affirming of me, right? John Dale Hill, I had a conversation with him today that was so impactful. It was so profound. It really was. It really, really was. And I'm going to talk to you about it because it shifted everything. My goddaughter, Alasia, who is in the process of creating a whole new human. Next week, he's supposed to be here, right? Will Turner, who just sent me a funny text this morning, but it set the tone for my whole day. It was an affirmation. It was a confirmation of what has already been a succession of unfolding magic over the last couple of weeks. T Ma'at Z, who sent me a message today that was so impactful. And it was impactful because I think this woman is a giant. She is a giant. I respect her so, so much. I respect who she is, what her life has created, what her journey has created as she is manifest today. She is a giant, right? Oshalami, another giant. These giants among us who are often muted because of our programming. I want to tell them that every time I talk to them, I am changed every time. Obasi, nickname Fire. I am so grateful for this human being. Oh my God. I am forever changed, forever changed every time we talk. Every time we talk, it's like epiphany comes like lightning bolts over and over and over again in my discussion with this man. Every time. Those were the direct interventions of my day. There are so many people that I could never name in a video that are permanently impactful in my life. Their presence is always with me. Their presence is always with me. Whether they know it or not, whether they hear from me every day or not, they should know that they are always a part of me. I am always thinking about them. Their presence in my life is what made me. I would not be the me that you know without them. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Right? Every single one. Oh my God. Every single one of them. So I want to share with you some things that came through for me today. Breakthroughs. One after the other today. Breakthrough after break. And I was at work, child. I'm sitting here trying to be in my left brain, focus on my job, get the task at hand done. Meanwhile, spirit is on me. Write it now so you don't forget it. Do it now. Be present now. Be present right this minute. There's something for you here. Be present right this minute. There's something for you here. There's another person I want to mention. Annie is another person I want to mention whose presence has been brief in my life, but extraordinarily impactful. Extraordinarily impactful. It has been a confirmation. It has been a confirmation. Her presence in my life has been a confirmation of spiritual intervention. Evidence that magic is real, right? Not only evidence that magic is real, evidence that the entire universe is consistently conspiring on our behalf so that we can do what we need to do, right? Anyway, so I wanted to say that before I get into the peculiarities of what has happened to me today, because I know that it is only going to get more deep and impactful as this week and this vortex that is wide the fuck open opens bigger, taps more and more people on the shoulder, begging attention, begging to be acknowledged. You understand? So I got a job that I started yesterday. It was a blessing because I did not think that at my age I would ever have to say the words out loud, I need to get a job, right? But recognizing some very significant things that have happened over the last 6 months, really life changing, pivotal point turning events that have happened over my life over the last 6 months, and recognizing that Spirit has afforded me the opportunity to sit and process those things, to not evade them or avoid them by the busyness and the chaos of task managing, task mastering, multitasking, and I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. Like, Spirit has afforded me the opportunity to sit with the last 6 months, which have been profound and heavy, in a lot of ways burdensome, but always, there's always lessons in it, right? And so in that, this last week, I was like, all right, I've been sitting with the shit. I've been doing ceremony. I've been journaling. I've been writing. I've been doing self-care in here. You see, I got all my cupping marks all over the place, processing, studying. But now I need to work. I need to make sure that money is coming in so that I continue to be secure, right? So last week I went to go talk to this brother I call a friend, but truthfully, we're acquaintances. We know each other. We met, a couple of years ago, but like we've never like sat together or had dinner together or went out for drinks together, but we know each other enough that I felt confident going and asking him for work. I was like, look, you know me enough to know that I would not ask if it was not urgent. I need a job, even if that's temporary. You can define the parameters of that, but I need work and I need it urgently, right? He's like, all right, bet. Come back Monday. Let's talk about the details. Let's see what we can do for you. Let's see what we can work it out. Let's see what we can work out because we got a lot need done around here. Let's see where we can fit you in. I was like, awesome. So yesterday was my first day. And what he has hired me to do was so on time. It was so on time. Right? I am organizing a gathering to welcome and host the son of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Dr. Julius Garvey is on a book tour that I didn't know about till yesterday when I was hired to do this thing. Dr. Garvey is on a book tour because he has revised the works. Is actually Amy Garvey that put it out, but he has revised the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey and is currently touring that. And so that's the event that I'm organizing. Now, that may not mean much to some, but I organized a big annual Marcus Garvey event every year in Tampa that I lived there. The last event that I did in Tampa was called the African Sovereignty Summit, and the subtitle was Fulfilling the Legacy of the Works of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. So I was like, this is what you want me to do? Like, yes, right? And it's so amazing, right? It's so impactful. But when I went in, it was still the same thing. Spirit was like, baby, be present. Be present. This is not a job. This is that moment where a thought becomes a thing. This is that moment where a wish is fulfilled. This is that moment where a command is being responded to. This is that moment where a need is being filled. Right? And so yesterday was great. Even as we're learning each other in real time, trying to make this event happen in a week, right? Spirit was like, I don't care how crazy it gets, be present. Observe what is happening around you, because you are not just here because you are not just here, baby, to have your needs met. It's part of it. This is the blessing, but that's not the only reason you are here. The skills that you have, the life experiences that you have, the connections that you have, the people that you know, the different things that have been imparted on you are also a part in this space of fulfilling a prayer, a wish, a need, a command that someone else spoke. Recognize that as well when it happens. There is someone around you. There is someone in this new process. There is someone close to you who your skills, your life, your experiences, your insight is going to answer a prayer, a wish, a need, a command. This is spiritual reciprocity and intervention, baby. Spirit's like, look, bitch, I know you got what you need, but you have made this spirit now working on me today. Spirit, so let me just keep going. So I started the job yesterday. I started the process. Let me not call it a job. Let me call it a process. I started this process yesterday with this brother who showed up for me. And when I went into that space, with a meditation that I am released from the spirit of judgment, that I enter into this space to be a blessing and to be blessed. I release the spirit of judgment and I enter this space to be a blessing and to be blessed. Okay? And so, this is important. But I'm going to move on because there's so much that I want to talk to you about. Today was crazy in the most absolute, wonderfully magical way. It was insane. I had this conversation. I was on the bus today, And I had this conversation. I was catching up because I'd missed a call. And so when I called him and he told me what he needed to talk to me about, I said, okay. I said, I want to. And then he told me what happened. He told me a couple of things that had happened and how he was feeling about it. And I asked him before responding, do you want this conversation to be something? Do you need from me? What do you need from me in this conversation? Do you need me to just listen and receive what you're experiencing in this moment? Do you want me to share an opinion? Are you open to intervention that may come through me? And he was like, I am open to intervention. I said, okay. And then what I proceeded to tell this man, and meant every word. As soon as our conversation was over, Spirit was like, bitch, that message you just gave him was for you too. Now, the message that I gave to him is based on my experience with him, right? And I told him today, I said, baby, because he had a negative experience. And he told me as a consequence of this negative experience, he wanted to fight. He was like, my knee-jerk response, like the feeling in my body, my blood was boiling, like there was acid in my blood. And my knee-jerk response was I wanted to fight. But instead, I took a deep breath and walked off. I said, John Dale, that knee-jerk response that you had is your old you. It is that you that was necessary. It's that old you that was informed by surroundings that alerted you that you were not safe. You were not safe to be your full self, that everything about your full selfness in space created responses that were that informed you even as a child that you had to protect yourself, that you had to fight, you had to brawl, you know what I'm saying? You had to defend yourself, you had to cuss somebody out because people were always going to come to you judging your selfness in that moment. And so your knee-jerk response to defend yourself was helpful. It was a defense mechanism then. It was a defense mechanism that you no longer need, baby. You have been doing the work. You've been on a spiritual journey, deliberately seeking the face of God for 7 years. You have been in ceremony all over the planet. You have checked out of society to get deep and dirty with your own self, your own shit, to emerge as something new. Your ancestors always around you. And I said, you remember I told you a year ago that you were going to have to get comfortable in the idea that people who are drawn to you or attracted to you, whether negatively or positively, that it is not their flesh, it is not their brain that is drawn to you. It is something in their spirit that seeks what it sees in you. And so now that you know that you are safe, that you are divinely guided, that spirit is constantly showing out for you, that your mother is constantly around you, shrouding you. Now that you know that you are secure and safe, divinely guided and protected, when these same incidences happen to you seemingly out of nowhere, you have to recognize that they are not seeming, that they are happening to you because the spirit of the broken sees something in you that it needs, that they need. And it's your responsibility as an enlightened one. It's your responsibility as one who now sees what others have yet to see, to speak to the spirit of that person and say, because basically somebody stopped him really aggressively today and was like, I ain't afraid of you, out of nowhere. No provocation, no nothing, but stuff like that. This happens to him all the time. And so this person stops him in the grocery store and is like, or like in the gas station, they're walking past each other in and out the door. And she was like, I ain't scared of you. And he was like, I immediately went to trigger response. I'm ready to brawl. I'm ready to defend myself. I said, those things are going to continue to happen to you as you evolve, John Dale. And now what you have to recognize is in that moment, even with someone like that, that's not to say put yourself in danger or anything like that, but it is to say that a response as simple as, you have nothing to fear from me, and keep it moving, is going to have a permanent and radical impact on this person. It is. These people, they do it. Evolution is happening. It doesn't require anything of us. Evolution is always unfolding. And our presence in the process is what we're creating. Evolution is always unfolding. It is our present, is how we move in the present, how we behave in the present, how we speak in the present, what we're focused on in the present, that will determine what that evolutionary process looks like, what the outcome of evolution will be. What world did we create in the moment, right? And so that unfolding is happening rapidly. And if you don't know what it is you're experiencing in your body, that shit can be really scary and uncomfortable. But when you know and you accept and you align to and you are open to receive that this is what it is and it can only be good, the outcome can only be good, then even those provocations will take they'll look new to you. Where they're coming from, you will see, right? And so I had this conversation with him, and on my way to work, I'm walking to the job. Spirit was like, that message was just as much for you as it was for him, baby. Be present right now, today. Be mindful. Be present. Because people are hurt and broken and dismayed and despairing. And their spirit is what is reaching out. Reaching out. Their flesh and their mind is suffering from programming that their spirit is constantly trying to push through. Okay? And so, right, that happened right before I got to work. See the spirit. When people come to you, when people approach you, see them. See them. See their spirit and what it is longing for. See their spirit and what it is longing for. Their behavior might be contrary, but our spirits all desire the same thing: to re-become one, to feel whole again, right? And so, so that happened right before work. And it had to happen right before work because of what happened while I was at work. Right? And so I'm taking you on a journey because people talk about shadow work. People talk about, new earth. People talk about transcending to 4 and 5 dimensions. People talk, and that is all nice. But what you don't often see, what you are not often allowed the opportunity to witness is evolution unfolding in real goddamn time. The good of it, the bad of it, the ugly of it, the uncomfortable of it, the admission of wrong of it, the breakthroughs in it, the epiphanies that occur seemingly from out of nowhere. So clear that you're like, how the hell did I not see this before? Right? And so I know sometimes it may seem that I am rambling, but I am not. I am telling you that spirit, the universe, our cells, our blood, our ancestors are all colluding on our behalf, conspiring on our behalf, pushing and prodding all the time. You need to know this person now. You need to have this experience right this minute. You need to come in contact with this person right now. And then to be still enough to recognize in that moment, not all after the fact, in that moment when an idea has become a material force, when a thought has become a thing, when a prayer that you made instantly in that moment has been answered, when a wish that you have made in the deepest, darkest spaces in your heart has unfolded right in front of you in real time, and you're like, holy shit, I didn't even say this out loud, but it is there. This is shadow work you're witnessing. This is the requirement, at least of me, to lay my fucking self bare, to expose myself. Oh my God. To expose myself so that people can recognize in themselves when spirit has taken a hold of their goddamn destiny and say, baby, I'm about to walk you right into the future. I'm about to walk you right into the doors of your destiny fulfilled. Oh my God. To bear witness. To bear witness of the process. To bear witness to what it means. What it all means. What it means to give birth to God. What it means to give birth to God is what you're witnessing, the fulfillment of your destiny. Every last one of you, baby. Every last one of you. They say, I read an article today that says that by the end of next week, they were predicting by the end of the year, but they're like, this shit is crazy how rapid and radically it's happening. By the end of next week, the global population will officially be 8 billion people. Next week, all 8 billion, every single one of us, every single one, baby, has a shared destiny. Every single one of us has a shared destiny. Every single one of us has the same destiny. It may present itself in 8 billion different ways, but our ambition is the same. Our destiny is the same, baby. It is to recall the majesty of being. It is to recall and remember the magic and the epiphany in the right now, in this moment, in every this moment, right now. It is not to say that we do not recognize and acknowledge our past. It is to say, to know it and to move as a creator with all the potential of the entire universe and all the co-conspirators that exist in the entire universe to create right this minute the new world. It is we as a singular entity that's creating the world, that is creating the future. It is us, we as a single entity. Child, whether we know each other or not, we are constantly co-conspiring for this unfolding that is happening. And so, what are we conspiring to create? Where is our energy going? I did a live the night before last, and I prefaced the live with a word that I looked up, felt moved to look up the definition and the etymology, the history of the word conspiracy. And when I say I was shook, I was shook. So I'm going to reiterate it now because it was an epiphany. Conspiracy, by definition, is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. But the etymology of the word, the history of the word, the breakdown of the word, which is mid 14th century French, conspirare, right, means to agree, to unite, or to plot. But the literal meaning of the word etymologically means to breathe together or to breathe in unison. C-O-N, means together or with. Spirare, S-P-I-R-A-R-E, means to breathe with spirit. To breathe with spirit. To agree by spoken oath to commit a bad act. These are other meanings. To blow together or to sound in unison, as in making music together, blowing an instrument to create music together. And then this is the good or neutral meaning of conspiracy. To contribute jointly to ensure a certain result. This is the good or neutral meaning of the word conspiracy. To contribute jointly to ensure a certain result through breathing together, a spoken oath made to ensure a certain result. So, what is the energy of your breath conspiring to create in the moment? What is our collective fear, rage, resentment, guilt, shame of allowing us to speak out loud as co-conspirators in a future that is uncertain? I hope y'all walking with me because I'm telling y'all. You understand? So much magic has happened this week. Listen, let me just tell you. The title of this talk that I am doing with you is called, Are You the Type That Sees Signs? Are you the type that sees signs? Are you still enough, present enough in every moment to recognize them when they occur? To recognize them when they occur? To be empowered by something that emanated in your mind as a thought, and then to witness it in the material world and say, I did that, as evidence of your magic, as evidence of your magic, as evidence of your ability to create, to command your heavenly co-conspirators to produce a desired result, right? So I see signs everywhere and I accept them, even as people think I'm crazy, even as people are like, it really wasn't that deep. That's because you don't see it. You can't see it. Baby, I went on a walk one night. This is part of the process, maybe a week ago, a little more than a week ago. I went on a walk. I was feeling pent up in my apartment. I'd been here all day. I was like, let me go get some fresh air. Let me go walk down to Hollywood Boulevard. I took a route in my walk that I have never taken. And I'm a creature of habit, but I was like, you know what? Let me just go somewhere else. So I'm walking, listening to my music, trying to get my blood pumping, get my sweat on. And I saw a card, like, a playing card on the ground. And it's happened a lot since I've been here. So I'm like, oh, cool. Well, let me pick up the card and I'll put it in my purse and I'll read it later. I'll go home and see what the card means because I'm sure that's a message for me, right? So I go to pick up the card and I see another card and then another card. I'm like, what is going on? So I was like, you know what? I ain't even going to question it. Let me just pick up the cards in the middle of the street. They were on Hollywood Boulevard, scattered, like somebody had just deliberately threw a deck of cards on Hollywood Boulevard. I was like, okay, whatever. Even as I'm about to get hit by cars, I picked up the cards. All grimy looking, look like they've been there a while. You understand? I picked up 18 cards. Okay. Now, I see signs because I've got my hands in a lot of things that help to inform me the different ways that spirit attempts to communicate with us, right? So I'm also into numerology. I'm also a daughter of Oya, right? And so Oya's number is the number 9. So I'm just picking up the cards. I'm not counting them. I'm just picking up the cards. It wasn't until I got home that I realized I picked up 18 cards, which reduces to the number 9. When I read my tarot for myself, I do a 9-card spread to honor the closing out of things, right? That's all ya. So I took these 18 cards that I found on the ground in the middle of the street on Hollywood Boulevard on a night that I never went that direction and accepted that there was an intervention for me. So the first 9 cards that I read, powerful, I read them that night when I got home and moved accordingly based on what was coming out of that reading. But on that blood moon, the night before last, I took the last 9 cards finally and read the last 9 cards. And when I read the cards, my secret intention, what I needed from the cards was confirmation about some very specific things, okay? And when I say I read these cards, these 9 cards, every single card, I was like shook. I was shook. I was shook because spirit today, now in the past, spirit has been subtle. Signs have been hard to see, hard to recognize. That is not the case today, baby. Not for none of us. I ain't no different than any one of you, every one of us. I have just aligned myself to be able to see, to be able to hear, to be able to feel in my flesh and intuit in my experiences when spirit is tapping me on the shoulder or tapping me in the forehead, attempting to get my attention. I allow myself to be open to receive when it comes. And so something like regular people be like, it's just playing cards. Somebody just probably dropped them. But for me, it's like, no, multiples of 9, because that's my mother and that's how she speaks. You understand? The cards that I picked up speaking exactly to what I was most concerned about in that moment. That is divine timing and unfolding, right? If you're able to see that. Um, so anyway, I will keep going. But that's why I entitled it, Are You the Type That Sees Signs? Because they are coming. They are coming frequently. And they're not subtle anymore. They are not subtle anymore. They ain't never been subtle for me because when I first came into the tradition, I was like, look, I was an arrogant ass. I was like, look, spirit, you understand? I don't need no signs. I don't need no symbols. I don't need no shit. I need to interpret. If spirit is real, if the universe is real, Eshu, if you are real, I need you to make it plain. I need to see it as clearly as a 3-year-old would. That was my prayer, verbatim. And ever since then, spirit is like, okay, you want us to make it plain, you arrogant bitch? And there it is, butt naked and in plain sight. You understand? Every time, all the time, right? So that happened. Then there were messages that came through today. So y'all gonna have to forgive me. I forgot to sit down with a glass, and I've been trying to be all cute and subtle about trying to get at my goddamn wine without getting up. So we just gonna do this ghetto style. You understand what I'm saying? Mm. Mm-hmm. And I needed it too. All right. So anyway. So another thing that was really important about today is about recognizing when we are moving through life from from our from our trauma, from our programming in every moment. I'm gonna tell you, I'm being raw with y'all. I'm gonna tell you some of my afflictions, some of my weaknesses in the past. Um, and when I say in the past, I mean the past is anything past yesterday. I mean anything past today, because this is a work in progress. And to recognize it, to come face to face with yourself without judging yourself, without judging your flaws or judging your errors, but recognizing in a moment when you've moved past that person that was you yesterday, that person that was you last year, to acknowledge that you were with a full heart that is accepting of that past you, not judging. Oh, I should have did this. Damn, I'm sorry I did that. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Purely accepting and open to see that past self and recognize that even with the flaws and the errors and the mistakes, that it was a part of your particular unfolding, right? And so today, the past me that I was sitting with, I think it's been all day. Every conversation was people that this particular thing. So I had been guilty of being very short. I have been guilty of being very short with people. I have been guilty of, in my need to prove my worth, in my need to prove my value, I have been very judgmental. I have been condescending. I have been short tempered with. I have been even like arrogant or hierarchical. Like I pride myself. I am very grateful for the skills that I have. I feel like I have been extraordinarily fortunate in the people that have come into my life and functioned in one way or another as mentors, teachers, parents outside of my own, um, elders, right? And even youth. I've learned just as much from people 20 years my junior as I have from elders. And but and there's a but in the acquiring of these very necessary skills for my particular unfolding destiny, right? Those skills, those talents, those experiences, in some ways, can be used as sharp blades that have me in a trauma response, have me look down on others or challenge others in a way that is not healthy and is not guided from me moving strictly from an open heart in a reciprocal interaction with others, right? And it is not an excuse that I am making. It is an acknowledgement that I am making in this moment about sitting face to face with that my need to prove my value, my need to prove my worth, my need to prove my intellect, my need to prove that I am lovable, my need to make all these grand gestures and then be frustrated in people's response to my attempts to prove these things, right? My value, my worth, my lovability, my likability, whatever. My need to prove these things, display these things, is the trauma response. It is still me in the present, living in the past, being ruled and controlled by my programming, being defensive, just like I talked to John Dale today. That's my old self, that I am safe and divinely protected and divinely directed and open to see, right? And so there is no need for me to prove. There is no need for me to be impatient with, short with, condescending to, judging of anyone. If I know what I know and have experienced what I've experienced and see what I see, then, like I just told John Dale, it is my responsibility, no matter how I may feel in my triggered response, it is my responsibility to see people's spirit, to see their soul, to recognize their true need, what it is their spirit is longing for in their programming is functioning as the constant obstacles and blocks to achieving that and receiving it. I'm saying this because I was sitting there today just thinking about the majesty of this week, thinking about this beautiful and radical unfolding that has occurred over this last week, baby. And Spirit, so I'm just going to speak out some of the notes that I took down in the chaotic stillness of today, right? So the one thing when I got there, Spirit was like, right now, this moment, right now, this moment, every second, every moment, right? Recognizing everything that is around you, being present, every interaction, every glance, every stare, being present. What is it that you're witnessing? What is it that you are observing? And how is your interaction in everything changing it? How is your presence in every moment, in every scenario, changing positively the future of whatever is involved, whoever is involved? Is your presence a positive, permanent, impactful presence in a space, or is it a negative and permanent moment in space, right? Are you having a negative impact on the future in the moment, or are you having a permanent impact on the future in the moment? Is your presence in any space that you are in a reflection? Is your presence in every moment and scenario that you are in a reflection of the future you say you want to create? Is your presence in every moment, in every glance, in every stare, in every conversation, in every breath you use to speak words, is it a reflection of the world you say you want to see, of the world you say you want to create? Or is your presence in every moment, in every interaction, every stare, every breath you use to speak words into the atmosphere, and a confirmation of the despair of what was? Are you recreating the past in every moment, or are you actively creating the future in every moment? Are you recreating the past in every moment, or are you creating the future in every moment? This is it. This is it. This is it. Every word that we breathe is a conspiracy that we are a part of. And is this conspiracy affirming the diabolical ails of the past, or is the conspiracy that we are participating in ensuring a certain result, that is the creation of the new world, the creation of the new earth, the collective remembering of our singular, collective, shared destiny fulfilled? Oh my God. Yo. So I'm at work having epiphany after epiphany after epiphany. And intervention. Quote, this project with a keel to free my time is a command of universe met, honored. It's a prayer answered. Anybody who knows me, it is a prayer answered. It is a desire met. It is a command being responded to. Because especially for the last year, my constant through frustration expression has been this, that great men, great male thinkers of the past were just afforded this beautiful space and opportunity and security and safety to do the deep dives, to do the thinking, to see the signs, and in that process, create whole new ideas, revolutionary, evolutionary concepts that have permanently changed the face of our collective thinking. And so my frustration was, and I just said it in the class I taught on Saturday, how many women can we name that have been afforded the same opportunity, the same safety, security, provisions, space, clear, calm, to just be one with spirit to create and receive what is going to be the next idea, notion, concept, theory, breakthrough, scientific, what have you, that changes the face of the entire collective conscious. And I couldn't name one. And so that had been my frustration for a long time. Like, that's what I'm telling Spirit all the time. This is what I need. This is how I need you to show up. This is what I am commanding. This is what I am requiring. You want me to sit in these 6, 7, 8 hour wormholes to actively in the moment create the new world. I need to be freed up to do it. I'm telling you, these are my conversations with spirit. You understand what I'm saying? No begging, no pleading, no, oh my God, no, none of that shit. That's not how I pray. You understand? And so what I'm telling you is this is for real how I pray, how I get down with spirit. Why? Because spirit is me. Spirit is me. God is me. The universe is me. My ancestors are me. The mothers are me. Right? And so I can be blood raw because everything the universe is requiring of us, I have set as my mission, baby, since I was 8 years old to comply and fulfill to the best of my ability in this particular incarnation. That's it. And so Spirit's like, you need to be still and recognize when a command you have made has been met in an instant. You need to be still and recognize when a secret wish that you have longed for in the most secret, quiet, dark space in your heart that you have never let anyone see has been fulfilled. You need to be still in every moment present to bear witness to the creative process when it unfolds, when a thought actually becomes a thing, the moment, when an idea becomes a material force in that moment, right? And so I enter this space with a need, a very material, urgent, fleshly need. But Spirit was like, walk into this space with an open heart, having released the spirit of judgment. There is nothing here for you to judge. You are here because you had a need, but you are also here because someone around you or several someones around you also had a need. You are here just as much to be a blessing as you are being blessed. Recognize it, recognizing everyone's true needs, not the urgency of their current, the true need, right? And so, yeah, uh huh. And then, so there was more, right? To consciously respond, not to respond from a place of trauma or judgment or the past or what we think we know, to consciously respond to any situation, to any phenomenon, to any person, to consciously respond as an architect of evolution, to consciously respond, internalizing in your opened heart that in every moment you have to recognize each individual's true need. You have to be able to see their spirit past their trauma, through their pain, through their rage, wading through all of their programming to see what spirit is requiring of you. Because people see us, those of us who are doing work, those of us who are doing this work, those of us who are getting deep and dark and dirty with us so that we can be the best versions of ourselves, so that we can continue to create this future that we want to see, right? And so there is a light that shines through the plaques of trauma. When I say the plaques of trauma, right? Imagine your heart covered with the constant overlays of trauma, betrayal, brokenness, fear, uncertainty, despair, right? And so, in the deconstructing that we're all engaged in, I feel like, whether we're conscious of it or not, in the deconstructing of the old, the plaques begin to come away. And as the plaques move out of the way, baby, the light shines through. The cosmic light, the divine light of the one shines through. And this is what people see in us, seek in us, even as in our estimation, they are backwards or lowly or be whatever judgment we cast on who a person is when they step in our space, when they step in our cipher at any given moment. Are we responding from a spirit of judgment because their spirit came to us, because their spirit is like, that motherfucker right there got something you need? Do we confirm or affirm their fear, their trauma, their distrust, their guilt, their shame, their rage, their frustration, their resentment? Or do we see past their trauma? Do we, because we know more? Do we, because we see more, wade through all their shit, their judgment, their trauma, their pain, their plaques, and speak to their spirit in that moment and embed in them hope, certainty, you understand? Certainty that our breath is conspiring to ensure a certain result. And what is the certain result? It is we made whole. It is we whole healed. It is we seeing all the time spirit in one another, seeing us in each other, recognizing and remembering that we are, each one of us, every 8 billion one of us is a unique and deliberate, wonderful, important expression of God needing this experience. Each one of us. There are no lost causes. There are no lost causes. Whoop. There are no lost causes. There are no hopeless cases. There's not. Every last one of us is divinely placed. That does not mean that we do not acknowledge the pain that human beings are suffering with. It does not mean that we do not acknowledge the origins of much of that pain. It is to say that every breath we use, every word we speak, while being informed of the past, while being informed of the crimes, while being informed of what we do not want to repeat, that every word that comes out of our mouth, every breath, precious as it is only spoken to ensure a certain result, to ensure that every moment, every breath, every stare, every glance, every interaction, our movement in space all the time is a reflection of the world that we want to create. When people see you, when people see me, the thing that I want them to take away is that motherfucker right there is going to change the world. That motherfucker believe what she say. Her actions are demonstrative that she believes what she says, that she is about that life, that she is not interested in anything that does not affirm and ensure a beautiful, harmonious, happy, ecstatic, blissful future for the 8 billion of us that live on this planet. That is some hard shit to sit with, because we are defined by, ruled by, owned by our labels. Our labels are what we think makes us important. Our labels are what we use to prove our worth to others. Our labels we grow comfortable with and in, because in a world that is seemingly so uncertain and chaotic, what is it that defines us? What is it that makes us stand out? What is it that helps others to understand my value, my worth, who I am, right? And our labels become our prisons. We become captives to our labels. Our labels, in so many ways, baby, are still based in our trauma. They are still a response and a reaction to our programming. We fight like hell for our labels, baby. We demonstrate for our labels. We throw down for our labels. We debate for our labels. You understand what I'm saying? We go to war for our label. We go to war for our labels, baby. We go to war for our labels. And the world that we are entering into, whether we're entering willingly or unwillingly, whether we are entering consciously or unconsciously, baby, evolution is happening, whether you are active participant or passive participant. This is evolution that you are witnessing. This is that sliver of a moment just before the thought becomes the thing. This is that minute moment before spirit becomes flesh. You understand? This is that space in between where the water goes from still to boiling. This is it. We're in it. So are you going to be an active participant in the creation of the future, or are you going to let your labels, your traumas, your fears, your frustrations, your judgments, your triggers, your programming make you a passive recreator of the ails of the past? These are the choices. They are but two. We are either willing, conscious, active participants in the unfolding of the new world, in the creation of the new world, or we are passive, mindless, unconscious, reactionary, triggered, judgmental recreators of all that we complain that the past has provided. These are the choices. They are but two. So if you are not an active participant in the creation of the future by being present right in this moment, that's all it requires, is to be in every moment present. Before I respond, where is this coming from? Am I moving from a place of fear? Am I moving from a place of backsliding into my old insecurities? Am I moving in this moment in a way that is in alignment with the future that I say I want to see, with the future that I say I want to create, with the future that I want my adult grandchildren to be blissfully bathing in? Am I in the moment recreating the past, or am I a poster child, billboard replica of the future that I say I want to create, that I want to see unfold? That's it. Those are the choices. So that's why I'm laying myself bare. I am telling you that every goddamn thing has changed, and spirit has provided security and safety and certainty to me, even as I have to move through grief, even as I have to receive and process through traumatic occurrences, even as I have to do everything that everybody else does, pay bills, make money, and all of that shit. It's like, Spirit's like, bitch, I know you got to do all of that, but be present in every moment. It's not an excuse. Be present in every, even as you got to pay bills, bitch, be present in every moment. And Spirit has continuously showed out in my life. Continues every goddamn day to show out in my life. Today, I am telling you, was an intervention. The whole day from the moment I got out of bed has been defined by epiphany after epiphany after epiphany. And those epiphanies didn't come from, quote, the genius of just my own brain. Every epiphany came as a consequence of an interaction with another human. All day. Everyone. Everyone. Do you see signs? Are you the type that sees signs? Are you present enough to recognize when your ancient self is showing up in the present to say, this is what I prepared you for. This moment is what I needed you to see. This moment represents a pivotal turning point in your whole life. This moment, your ancestors are telling you. This moment, your big mama is telling you. This moment, spirit, the angels, your spirit guides, whoever you subscribe to, is telling you when you are still, baby, recognize when it happens. This is the moment that you've been preparing for. This is what is going to represent the next stage in your radical leap forward. This moment is necessary so that you have the ability to teach others. So it is not as difficult for them as it has been for you to do this work, to do shadow work, to do spiritual work, to move through different types of relationships and recognize where people's frustration is coming from. That it's not about me. Their frustration is not a reflection of me. Their judgments of me are not a reflection of me. Baby, we judge, we have rage, we have frustration, resentment, sadness, guilt, jealousy, envy, worry, uncertainty. We have these things. And I'll tell you why. Every one of these things that I just listed is still indicative, emblematic of spirit trying to communicate in the material world. Spirit attempting to communicate in the material world. So I cannot be triggered anymore. I cannot move from old programming anymore. So y'all are going to go back. I'm not deleting anything because this shit has been my walk. This is the deep, dark, dank of my walk. And when I say the evolution is unfolding rapidly in this period, it means that I might say something last week and have something totally contrary to say about it today. And y'all gonna have to be all right with that. This is the process. But the process requires us to be open. I don't have no shit to hide from y'all. I got dirt like everybody else. That's the shadow work. I'm telling you, shadow is requiring to be seen. Our shadows are requiring to be embraced without judgment. Our shadows are demanding their time in the spotlight, but you kept me quiet too long. You done kept me hidden too long. And this is why I stay wreaking havoc in your life, because I demand a spot on the block. I am requiring to be seen so that you can be comfortably and confidently your whole self, your whole dynamic, radical, wonderful self. That you do not have to live in a constant state of duplicity anymore. You don't have to be the good guy in public and do all your quote deviant dirt behind closed doors. You can be your whole you. You can be your whole you, right? That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I am telling you. Today, I had 2 conversations with men who were ex-lovers of mine, right? And one was the conversation was pretty general, but I made sure that he knew that just him reaching out to me when he did, on the day that he did, while I am doing this work, while I'm doing this dance with spirit right now for this week that we in this goddamn vortex, I made sure that he knew that what he thought was a small intervention was impactful. It set the tone for my whole day, this intervention. The second person that I made contact with, who was a lover, I was on my phone preparing to send him a message when he beat me to it, when he sent me a message. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, boy, let me tell you about you. I said, I was just about to message you, and you sending me this message was like, this confirmation that I should not put it off, right? And the long and the short of it is that this particular lover and I had a very strange and complicated in so many ways, had a very complicated relationship, right? Have, I say present, have a very complicated relationship. And in the past, I had tried to um in the past, moving from a spirit of judgment, in the past, with this particular relationship, moving from a spirit of judgment, moving from a place of feeling entitled, moving from my trigger response places, moving from my insecurities, moving from this need to demonstrate my value, demonstrate my um demonstrate my worthiness, right? My lovability. I have in several instances in our past um, cut him off, cut our relationship like clean off, block out. He's never done anything outright like mean or malicious or disrespectful. That's why I say our relationship has been very complicated, right? And today, when he reached out, when he did, and how he did, was when I recognized that um, every single person that I have ever met, that I have ever had a relationship with, good or bad, every person has been permanently impactful in my life. And if that is the only takeaway, that without that person, without that intervention, without that time in my life, no matter how brief, that I would not be the person that I am in this moment, in this now. And I love that me. I love the me that I am in this moment, flaws and all. And I had to acknowledge him today, despite the complexities of our past relationship, and say, I am going to close out this version of our relationship, but still allow myself to be open. If you see the value in continuing to have a relationship that is new, that is different, that is based on how evolution is daily impacting my life, I said, I will give you time and you can set the terms for if and how you want to continue this relationship. But for me, this is what it is, right? And I had to let that go. And in that move through this day and these things, um, one of the conclusions that I had to come to was that I have to truly, deeply make peace with my past, because my past and my responses to instances in my past is up until still a part of my deconstruction process, right? Is what has shaped my interactions with people, my responses to people, sometimes my impatience with people, right? My judgments of people, my arrogance with people, my expectations of people, what I think I am entitled to of other people. All of that has been defined by how I have created mechanisms of defense that are still based in childhood trauma and ideas about myself and my worthiness, right? And so I was saying, like, I really got to make peace with my past. I got to make peace with so many people. I have to make peace even with people that have wronged me. I have to make peace with that moment in my life. Extract from it how it permanently changed me, what it informed me of, and how that information has become a tool for the creation of the new world. That's it. So, with my past, I had to say, the lessons of my past are learned. Thank you. The lessons of my past are received and internalized. Thank you. The traumas of my past, I release. Thank you. The judgments of it all, I release. Thank you. I move forward with only the gems, the lessons, the blessings of the past to create the new world. That is all. Can we do that? Can we approach every single, oh my God, every single solitary human being without seeing ghosts of their former selves, without judging who we believed they were, without judging who we think they are by how they present in the present? Can we see people's true needs in every moment? The need is the same. It is reconnection. It is remembering. It is to become one again, fully one, fully embodied in the protection and the security and the safety and the joy and the bliss and the radical ecstasy provided to us by a mother who does not judge us. She does not determine whether we deserve to be fed or not, whether we deserve to be secure or not, whether we deserve to be loved or not. She provides and provides and provides and provides and waits patiently for her children to act right. Can we be the same? Can we do the same? And I know that some will think that it's difficult. I know that some will want to fight. It's our default. Frustration response is our default. Brawl mentality is our default. Debating ideas is our default, right? But we have nothing to prove to one another. We don't. We have nothing to prove to one another. We are all here because we are supposed to be. We are all here because we each have a role in the divine unfolding. We each have a role to play, right? And so we don't have to prove anything to each other, to ourselves, to anyone, to be present in the moment, to recognize the ease with which problems are solved when we are present in the moment. This has been the great secret. This has been the all elusive thing, is to recognize that in the moment, in the now, is what is important. To acknowledge what was, to vision what will be, but to be present right now. To move with the future in mind, informed by the past, but without judgment, without emotionalizing, without fear, without uncertainty, without despair, to confidently and audaciously leap forward into the future of our own design. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. There's so much that happened today. I don't even think I touched the hem of what happened to me today, right? The one thing I want to say, and then I think I'm going to close this out. One other thing I want to add. was when I was sitting with this, because I've been guilty of it. Everybody's emotions are raw and exposed right now. We just endured 2 years of a global pandemic that we are still in recovery from, still trying to understand what happened, still grieving lost love. Mhm. And so our our emotions are raw and exposed like live wires. Everybody's energy is palpable. E- Everybody's energy is palpable and contagious, right? And and so I am not separate from that. So even though I'm doing this work and I'm walking this journey and I'm always trying to be present and I'm studying every day to keep me aligned with what I am required to do, I am still experiencing that. I'm still experiencing everybody's raw, exposed emotions. I'm still impacted by it. Some days I be in this bitch burdened. I'm like, you know what? I ain't going outside. I'm going to lay on this couch today for 12 hours. I'm turning my phone off. I cannot do it. To walk outside, especially where I live, to walk outside and the overwhelming emotion is fear and uncertainty, which leads to all the others, right? So I'm not apart from that. I'm not separated from it, but sometimes I give way to it in a way that's not healthy, right? I I become subdued by it, overcome by it, right? So when I say this is a dance I'm doing, like a tug of war that I'm doing, I mean that. I am human. And so it is natural for me to feel what others around me are feeling and to be overcome by that and subdued by that. And that has happened, right? But the being present, the being still amidst the chaos, to be able to extract epiphany from wherever it comes, you have to be present, right? And so one of the things while I was sitting outside at this new gig, it was like sitting here and recognizing that I have always been surrounded by every answer I've sought. I've always been surrounded by every prayer I've prayed. I've always been surrounded by every wish I've ever made. I've always been surrounded by every desire I've ever had, I've ever held, I've ever kept secret. Every wish, every desire, every every vision exists right this minute. And it's probably not as far from you as you think. Is your programming, are your traumas, is the plaque placed on your heart, are these things forming obstacles that make it impossible for you to see that your blessing is already where you at? It's already within your grasp. It's already there waiting for you to see. Waiting for you to see. I am sitting there in this space thinking about what has happened, how I ended up in that space. And I am like, oh my God, every weakness that I have, right? And I can acknowledge those weaknesses right here, right? Every weakness that I have, coming into a space where somebody has strengths in those areas, every strength that I have, coming into a space where people who don't have those strengths need my presence in the space, recognizing that every freaking ambition I have, every desire I have been surrounded by and did not see them because I was moving from a place of, I got to do this, I got to do that. Ain't nobody going to help me do it. How can I do all this shit by myself? Um, um, all of it. Looking back at moments where blessings were being literally handed to me on a silver platter, and based on the obstacles that I had not removed, rejecting those blessings. Huge, gargantuan, potentially permanently transforming blessings that I have rejected time and time again because I had not done this work yet. I had not accepted that so much of what I have allowed to define me, labels, trauma, judgment, defense mechanism, you know what I'm saying, had created blocks, energetic obstacles to blessings that were literally laying in wake to empower me, to embolden me, to enrich me, to make the fulfillment of my destiny easier than more difficult. You understand? That's some deep shit to sit with. Like, the shit's always been here. You just haven't seen it till now because today was the day you needed to see it. All things in divine timing. Recognizing your past in its totality, in its honesty, in all the ups and downs, highs and lows, good and bad, without judgment, embracing it and saying, this is a part of my whole self. And I can embrace it and love it and shine light on it and recognize that it is a former version of myself. It is that portion of my life that was necessary for me to come to this place, this moment, in this right now. Because it functioned as one of the many tools that Spirit has gifted me with to ensure the fulfillment of my destiny, to ensure a certain result, right? And so, how do we create the new world? What does the new world look like? What is the new world where people can live harmoniously? A world without hierarchies, a world without isms, a world without judgment, a world where safety and security and happiness are the foundation of what we call life, the foundation, the starting point of this thing that we call life. How do we create that in real time? Do we create it by giving power to the old? Do we create it? Oh my God. Do we create it by conspiring, by breathing together with our voice, speaking aloud to sound in unison the despair of the old? Are we using that? That's some hard shit to sit with, child, because y'all ain't rocking with what I'm trying to say. To come to the conclusion today, and this is the last time you'll hear me say it, mark my words, on this November 10th, 2022, 12:04 a.m. Mark my words, my commitment to myself and to heaven and to my ancestors. You will not hear me again talk about patriarchy, talk about misogyny, oh my God, talk about colonialism, talk about men's hatred of women, I'm just not. With the breath that I breathe, with the spirit that I utter out of my mouth, with these spoken oaths that I take every day, every time I open my mouth and have a conversation. It's an oath that we're making. It's a commitment that we're making every time we open our mouth. Ooh. To contribute jointly to the singular human consciousness of what we want to ensure as a certain result for the future of us collectively. Do I create that by lamenting and raging and woefully despairing of the past, of patriarchy, of misogyny, of the mistreatment of women, of the hatred of women, of all things bad? Again, it is to acknowledge what is and what was and what the origin of what we're witnessing now is, but acknowledging it here. But when we open our mouths, every time we open our mouths, allowing the equal and opposite reaction to that to unfold and be spoken into the universe as a pact that we make with heaven. Every time I open my mouth, every time I breathe to speak words, every time I speak an oath of creation in a conversation, it will be a reflection all the time of the future I want to create. It will be a reflection every single time of the world that I am confident and certain we can radically and rapidly create right now. We do not necessarily need to know the how, because the how comes in the answering of prayers, the fulfillment of wishes, the response to commands. It does. The how easily comes in epiphany and dreams and interactions with other humans who have something to contribute to the idea that exists in you already. The how to create the new world is being revealed to us every day if we are the type that sees signs. If we are the types that see signs, the how to create the new world is being revealed every day, every moment, because the world, every moment, and Mother Earth is conspiring on our behalf. Our solar system is conspiring on our behalf. The great body of the cosmic mother is conspiring on our behalf. Every ancestor, those known and unknown, are conspiring on our behalf so that we can fulfill our very unique and peculiar role in the unfolding and achieving of our collective destiny. This is real. This is real. This is real. So that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. The next week is so important. This week that we're in is so important. It's so, so important. Please do not be wasteful in the speaking of your ashe. Be deliberate in the speaking of your ashe. Every time you open your mouth to speak, allow it to be guided by a spirit of certainty. Allow it to be guided by an innate knowing that we all possess. Allow it to be a seed that feeds someone who does not yet see. Every time you speak, allow the magic of what comes out of your mouth to be the seed planted in those who do not yet see. Do not judge where they are in their peculiar, unique walk through this life. Do not judge who they are. Do not judge how they present. Do not judge their life. Do not judge. In any moment when you choose to speak, use the spark of divinity that comes from your lips to plant a seed of the future that we want to create, to impart light on their spirit, to assure their desperate spirit that you recognize it and you recognize its true need, its true desire. Recognizing in every moment that every contact we make with a human being is an opportunity. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. Every person presents an opportunity for us to change the world. Every person that we come into contact with offers us the opportunity to disprove their fears, to disprove the idea, the triggered, programmed idea that they cannot trust, that they are not safe, that they are not worthy of love. Oh my God, that they are not worthy of love. It are the words you speak out of your mouth. As a matter of fact, let me rephrase that. From now on, from this moment on, commit, oh my God, commit to making sure that every word that you speak to everyone is not informed by judgment, is not informed by fear, is not informed by hatred, is not informed by your programming. When you open your mouth, from now on, make this commitment. When you open your mouth from now on, say, in this moment, no matter what is happening, I choose to plant this seed that will ensure a certain result. There's a song that Bob Marley did. How's it called? I can't even think right now. It's late. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I didn't be on this thing this long. But the line in the song is, we are confident in the victory of good over evil. We are confident in the victory of good over evil. That confidence has to be displayed in actionable ways. So when you open your mouth, make sure that you are planting a seed. That's all you're doing. We seed planters right now. We're seeding the future in real time because we know now. We know more. We have more information. We know everything. We know everything. We have in our bodies every lived experience since we got here, since we've been here. We have every lived experience. We know, though we cannot yet recall, the solution to every problem We know it already. But are you yet the type that sees signs? Are you the type that sees signs? Do you recognize them when they present themselves? And do you act accordingly when they occur, when they appear? Do you act accordingly when they appear? Are you the type that sees signs? Are you one that has presently heeded the call? You know? So that's all I got for tonight. Just know that this is a vortex week. It is a powerful week. The mothers, the collective energy of all the mothers is on the move. And so this week, be open. Have your heart open, have your eyes open, your ears open to see signs when they appear and to be in a position to act accordingly. That's the assignment. This is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as Daughter of the Fates. Yeah, wake up daily expecting magic. Create a great day every day. Be present in every moment. Be a reflection of the world you want to create in every moment. Good night, and I will see you again tomorrow.